Hey folks, Jer here at The View with some Leeds news and a little bit of a Leeds match preview. So I hope everyone's doing great today. Lovely Saturday, no game today, but plenty of Premier League action before we get ready for tomorrow. And a few bits and pieces floating around before we get to kind of a short version of the matchday preview. So shouldn't be too long a video, we'll crack on through it straight away. Starting off with Victor Orta, it appears that Chelsea have decided on who their next sporting director is and who will replace Petr Cech, and it's not going to be Victor Orta, which is good news for us. Whether you are a fan of Victor Orta or not a fan of Victor Orta, getting a good sporting director with the connections that someone like Orta has is very difficult. So this could be a case of hanging on to what we have, because there may not be better out there. So Orta is set to stay at Leeds, as Chelsea are set to appoint Red Bull Leipzig technical director Christopher Vivel. Everyone's going into the Red Bull model. There might be something in it. I wonder if everyone's figured it out. Orta was said to be on a short list of 5 names, but they look like they've moved for Vivel now, so it will be Victor Orta staying at Leeds for the immediate future anyway. Talking about the match coming up and international matches as well and players getting game time, Mateusz Klich has been speaking with Sport PL in Poland, admitting that he's pretty disappointed with his lack of game time for club and for country. Klich hasn't started a game for Leeds this season, but he's also dropped down the pecking order at Poland as well. He didn't even make the bench for their last international game. And he said, of course, he's disappointed. Everyone wants to play as much as possible, and this is not how he imagined things going. He said that he can't do anything but show in the league matches that he deserves a place in the team. He's been very good when he's come on. He's worked really hard when he's come off the bench. And I think given the form Leeds have been in recently, there's a strong shout for him maybe moving into the 10 position while Sinisterra's out and Aronson moving it right. And we'll get to that in a few minutes. There's loads of options with that. But yeah, he's heading towards probably the end of his time at Leeds. He's talked about moving back to Krakow eventually to finish his career at his kind of hometown club. So there's yeah, it's a bit sad, but I think Klich still has a big part to play this year, and I think I'd like to see him get more game time. I don't want to see Leeds players go to the World Cup and not play or just miss out on the World Cup. I want to see Leeds players at the World Cup, It'd be great to see. And some transfer news then, Football Insider, this is more of a youth transfer than anything else, but Football Insider is saying that Leeds have joined the race along with Arsenal to sign Rangers' highly rated youngster, or as they're referring to him as a youth sensation, Jack Wiley. He's playing currently for the Rangers youth side and for the Scottish under-16s. We did sign Rory Mahady from Celtic, who also is playing for the Scottish under-16s. So there's a good group of Scottish players coming up there currently at the moment. And Leeds and Arsenal are said to have had scouts watching him on a regular basis and are both interested in bringing the player to their club. Leeds continue to try and invest in their underage setup as well to make that stronger and to keep that conveyor belt of talent coming through. Then we're talking about moving into the matchday stuff, and Jesse Marsch was asked about his dialogue with the PGMOL and the Premier League about the time-wasting situation. And what Jesse Marsch said, the dialogue has continued. He said they had had good meetings with them, and the PGMOL have said that they are obviously have an interest in sorting the time-wasting issue in the Premier League out. Leeds averaged 50 minutes of ball in play time in their games, except the Chelsea game. And as Jesse Marsch said yesterday in his press conference, he doesn't expect Arsenal for our next home game to come and park the bus. And I'd be surprised to see Crystal Palace do that at home tomorrow as well. I'd be shocked to see that happen, especially in a home game with the form that they're on as well, which would get their crowds back up a little bit, I would imagine. Moving on to the matchday stuff then, and he was asked about replacements for Sinisterra, and pretty coy, as you could imagine, said lots of things without saying a whole lot. So what he said was, Chris Somerville is in the best form of his career since Marsch has been to the club, so 8 months. He also said that Bamford and Rodri work very well together as a pair. He said that Joffe has given him a lot of food for thought by going out and proving against Tranmere what he can do, and he was head and shoulders above everybody else in the park against Tranmere. I said it last week, looked by a mile better standard player than that level. And he also said he wants to get Willy Gnonto in. So basically he's saying, I'm not telling you who I'm going to replace in Sinisterra with. That's basically the gist of this. He's named pretty much everybody who could potentially play there. And you can add Mateusz Klich to that as well. Klich has been probably at his best time at Leeds, has been in the number 10 position. So Klich could very easily step in there as well. But he didn't mention Klich in that, which is an interesting one. That could be a surprise, or could be just telling us that he doesn't see him in that position. But I would fully expect to see Aronson move out into the right-hand side, which might protect Aronson a little bit. He's been getting kind of kicked out of games recently. I could see Rodri dropping into 10. I can totally see Rodrigo playing into 10. I would like to see Somerville get his chance though. At some point they're going to have to push him on and give him a go and see what he can do. So, why not? He's an attacking player. It's an away game. There'll be plenty of counter-attacking opportunities. You know, why not play to his strengths? On the injury front then, Adam Forshaw is out, I know, again, but it's a hernia. Standard footballer's injury, so he's going to be out for about a month with a hernia to sort that out. There's really not an awful lot you can do about that. The harder you're working on your fitness and everything else, you can very easily tear your hernia or get a hernia from it. So, yeah, he's out for about a month. Archie Gray making good progress and looking well to come back in a couple of weeks' time. And Leo Helde has had an appendectomy operation to remove your appendix. So he's had an issue with his appendix, so that's gone. So that'll never happen again. So great news for Leo Helde. He should be back pretty well. They're both doing well and expected to make the returns pretty soon. Stuart Dallas on the longer side of things has just had another procedure and is said to be doing really, really well. Jesse has said that he is still a couple of months away from getting on the grass. So slow progress for Stuart Dallas, but it was always going to be slow progress. I think most people's predictions for this were going to be he was going to miss probably the entire season. They're still hoping to get him back on the pitch after the World Cup at some point. So, you know, by the time we get back from the World Cup, maybe Stuart Dallas will be back and ready to go. So that's pretty much it. If we talk about the Palace stuff, then Joachim Andersen is back, which is a bad news for us. A good player is back for Crystal Palace. Ferguson and MacArthur are not there, still out at the moment. But Nathaniel Klein does return for Crystal Palace. In terms of form guide, we have identical form over the last 5 games. We have both 1-1, drawn 2, and lost 2. Palace currently sitting in 17th place, but a win against Leeds would put them level on points with us as well, depending on how that score goes. There's a 3-goal difference in the goal difference. They have -3 and we're 0. A win for Leeds would put us 6th, results depending this weekend, especially today. But it would be nice to see Leeds go and get a win. You know, we've struggled against Crystal Palace at times, and Jesse Marsch did say in the press conference that they have stifled us in the past, and we have a plan to get around that, and fingers crossed that we do. You love to see stats like Wilfred Zaha hasn't scored against Leeds. You know, he's definitely going to score against Leeds this weekend. Please don't say things like that. If ever I hear a commentator say, this player hasn't scored in 2 years, you are guaranteed he is scoring against Leeds. So that's the story, folks. That's the crack. Short amount of news, not a whole lot going on. Bit of team news. And a game to look forward to on the box tomorrow. If you're going to travel away to the game, safe travels and enjoy the game. And if you're watching it on the box like I will be, enjoy it. Try and enjoy it a bit. Yeah. Video tomorrow, Sunday, back on Monday with the review of the match and whatever news is floating around then. And we did hit 3,000 subscribers, by the way. So thank you very much for everyone who has subscribed to the channel. Awesome. Really appreciate it. You're great. Thank you very much for this. This has been... I've really enjoyed the last 3 months. Really, really enjoyed it. So I appreciate every single person who watches a video or likes the video, subscribes. Thank you very much. Anyway, I'm waffling. See you Monday. Bye.